my content throughout the chat as people log in, and sharing some useful links as we follow along with Sarah.
Yes. Thank you, Christina. All right. So here we go. If you are brand new to Edpuzzle, I always like to include this just in case. So you start with a video, you embed notes and assessment questions, and you can track your students' progress. So super easy. You can use any YouTube video. So really quick, how are you using videos in your classroom? So I want you to go on and share with us so we can see how you're already using videos and maybe how you can take it a step further using Edpuzzles with all of these lovely tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you today. Let me see. What do we have? Christina's sharing the bit.ly. Yes, the bit.ly is in the bottom right corner. Ooh, somebody said, flashback to my question earlier. Somebody said all about the pie, and I kind of forgot about the pie until this moment because I was more excited for the savories, but pie is a thing of beauty at Thanksgiving. You are so right. So the bit.ly is in the bottom right corner. Please feel free to share how you're using Edpuzzle in your classroom or videos. It doesn't have to be Edpuzzle. If you wandered into the session because you thought, I'd really love to maybe use Edpuzzle, it could be how you're using videos because it is a video lesson tool. I'll tell you, before I discovered Edpuzzle, I was a world history teacher, and I was one of those teachers that had a worksheet video guide for everything. You know what I mean? Because what other choice did I have? There was no cool interactive embedded questions. So I was one of those teachers that had a worksheet for every single video, and it was night and day when I got to start using Edpuzzle, and I could still use the same questions, but it felt so much cooler to my students because the video was pausing for them to answer the question, right? It wasn't I could not pay attention to the piece of paper in front of me and wait to try to answer all the questions at the end, and then I couldn't answer any of the questions. It had all of those questions embedded so that I would pause. So the beauty of Edpuzzle, speaking of pausing, is a prevent skipping toggle, which means that your students can't continue watching the video until they answer the question. So because of this, you're automatically holding students accountable for answering those questions. They can also be autonomous because they are watching the video and it's pausing while they're watching it on their own individually. It increases the engagement because they have to answer the questions as they watch the video. They are becoming more active learners. It saves class time for higher level learning, and it syncs with Canvas, which is going to be your favorite thing because you share it as an external tool within Canvas, and it automatically sends the grades to your gradebook. So if you are in session 2 and you're now sticking with me in session 3, A, thank you. B, we're going to participate in a live mode, which is always a little messy virtually, but I love showing people the fun things you can do within your Edpuzzle through this live mode. So a lot of these tips and tricks that I'm going to talk about are actually featured in this live mode. So there is a method to my madness. You can use any Edpuzzle assignment with live mode. You are showing the video and controlling the pace. So you will see on my presenter screen the video actually playing, and on your individual devices, you will be able to answer the questions. Students will respond to the questions on their own devices, and they can still access the assignment independently afterwards. So you will still see, if you're using Edpuzzle already, those red, yellow, and green data features that you have come to love will still be available after you do the whole group live mode session. So just to give you an idea of what this looks like, we've got the student view. You can see the questions popping up, and then the teacher view also has the question after that portion of the video plays, and you can show the responses on your board at the front of the room. So this is a great way if you feel like maybe your students are losing their autonomy. Let's say, okay, good example. It's next Wednesday. Y'all all know are you in school next Wednesday? Now that I've said that, right? The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, or the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, or whatever your last day of school is before a break. right? It's that day. So when it's that day and you feel like your students can't handle doing things independently, you can still use your Edpuzzle independent video lesson in live mode and make sure that we're all answering the questions and we can go through the video as a class together. So for this, I would love it if you would join our live mode. Now, what might be easier because you're using your laptop would be maybe to scan the QR code and join using your mobile device. But if you want to type in edpuzzle.com/open/VOKEWFE, you'll be able to join the live mode. You can also scan this QR code. I think that tends to make it a little bit easier if you want to do it on your mobile device. If you're feeling really frisky, we even have an Edpuzzle app for a mobile device that your students could use. That only works on the student end, so you would be able to experience it this time. But the easiest thing would be for you to type in edpuzzle.com/open/VOKEWFE or scan the QR code. And I'm sure Christina will share this for me, or maybe already has in the chat window. She has, because she's amazing. Thank you. And it should take you into, oops, my goodness, my fingers aren't working anymore. It should take you into our open class and you'll be able to join our live mode demo. So there's the link on my screen as well. And you should see your name start popping up. We'll just take another minute. Now, what I have in these questions is some examples for ways that I will, oh, you can type in your nickname. These are ways that I level up my questions. Now, Wendy asked about nickname. You just type in your name for this one because we are not 14-year-olds joining an open class, so I trust you to type in your names. But if it was my 9th grade students, I would be sharing this through Canvas and their name would already exist when they go to the live mode. So even though we're able to type in a nickname, it's just because of the way that I have the open class set up. Even if you do an open class, you can actually make it so that Edpuzzle pre-populates the nickname for them. But I have it set in so that you can type them in. We'll just wait another minute. Here's, I think somebody said they wanted the QR code again. So here it is. So Genevieve asked, where in Canvas do the kids click on to join live mode? So once you assign the Edpuzzle through Canvas, you would go into the assignment screen itself and click on live mode. So just like when I clicked on live mode, there was a little gray button there. That same thing is going to show up in Canvas and they click on the assignment title and it should open live mode for them once you've clicked on live mode. All right, I'm going to go on and get us started. Seems like a lot of us are in here. And now I'm just going to pray that my sound works. Let me know real quick in the chat if it doesn't. No sound. Of course. No sound. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Share sound. Look, you guys, it's been a long day already. Let's see if this is a little better.
Safety, got goggles drawn and lab coats on. Open toe shoes out of here. Are you going crazy? Things could go wrong. Things could go wrong.
You heard the sound that time, right? Nods, maybe. Okay, good. It got a lot louder on my end, so I'm hoping that you can hear it. All right, so which safety apparel is not necessary in the lab? I saw a science friend already said that they use this every year at the beginning of the year for lab. Love it. Mainly I love Dua Lipa, so I had to, but which of these four? So one of my tips, I love this accommodation for like ESL students. This is how I got my kindergarten teachers when I was a tech coach using Edpuzzle, is you can put an image for each of your answer choices. You can do 2 answer choices, you can do 4, you can do 3, you can do an image with a word, right? Anywhere that you can type, you can insert an image. So I always love to show this as one of the great ways that you can increase engagement, right? Pick between the 4 images. And then as far as the teacher end of this, I want to show you this show responses button. So here I can see 92% answered with flip-flops, 4% said lab coat, 4% said goggles. And thank you to my 2 groups of 4%, because I always love having people actually answer it wrong, because that way we can see the data at the end too. And then I've got this rewatch button here. So using this live mode is a great way at the beginning of the year, especially if your students have never interacted with Edpuzzle before, to kind of show them the effective ways to learn through video, right? So you can do the live mode and be like, wow, only like, let's say that this was reversed, right? And 92% of us got it wrong. Then I could use that rewatch button, because students have a rewatch button too. And I can show them, you know, this is a good opportunity for us to rewatch that portion of the video, since so many of us got the question wrong. So you can kind of mirror how they should be doing that, and show them on the board.
My gloves, they make me safe around chemicals, the chemicals. My love, tie back your hair and prep materials, the materials.
So another one of my little accommodation tricks is to have 2 answer choices. So if you have long hair, what should you do during lab? Let it hang in your face or tie it back. And just a note to y'all that are completing this, on my screen, I see 25 out of 35 answered. So you can do the whole, like, you know, waiting until everybody answers thing. You can use this time to kind of make sure that people are participating. Where are my last 7 people type situation as a teacher, right? You can kind of check in on that. And then you could even say, highlighting the answer that you think is correct. Okay. Rewatch. I could also skip this question. So if I'm like, oh, don't love this question, maybe I'm just really quickly using another Edpuzzle that somebody else made, I can skip it if I want, and that way I'm not worried about it. And then here, once again, I've got my show response option. 97.3 seems like we all get that you need to tie your hair back. So we are going to continue on.
1, don't you taste a sniff, you know you should be wafting if you're taking a whiff. 2, don't mix it in until the label's checked again. 3, no food or drink unless you want to have us find you dead in the morning. And if you follow this, you won't mitigate the risk. I got lab.
All right. If you see me singing and dancing, you know, no judgment. This is just very catchy, and I know the song now. Why shouldn't you have food or drink in the lab? So what I wanted to show you was one of our new features, which is a student audio response option. So if you want to test it out, you can actually click on the microphone on your device and record your answer, and I'll shut up long enough for you to do it.
They will find you dead in the morning.
We heard somebody's response too. I love it. Even though it was probably a mistake. I hope Christina's participating and she records an answer. I just thought about that because I don't want to play anybody's if they don't want me to. Now, the one tip that I like to give you if you're going to use the student audio response, so it's part of our open-ended question type. So when you go and make your Edpuzzle, you've got multiple choice, open-ended, and note. So that's like the 3 types of questions that you can embed, the 3 video events we call them that you can embed. So this is part of that open-ended question. The key is that it will always allow them to type their answer. So it will add on that they can record their answer, but they will still also be able to type. So if you are wanting them to only record the audio answer, you want to do what I did here, which was I just put hint click on the microphone to record your response. So just a word to the wise, when you utilize that feature, if you want to make sure that everyone is recording their audio, you need to give them that direction in the question because it's part of open-ended question. All right, and then I can show my responses and I can even see, right? And I don't know if you noticed this, but what do I not see in my responses? I don't see names, right? So as far as you being the student in this activity, you can probably find your answer, but I couldn't attribute one of these answers to an individual person. Now, that being said, my 9th grade teacher head is like, some kid is going to write something inappropriate because they think that I can't tell who wrote that answer in, right? No, no, no. You can still see who that answer is attributed to at the close of the lesson. So I could see that Sarah typed, "You might die." Right? Like I could see who typed what answer after the lesson is over. So you can still access each of their individual answers and see who, because I taught 14-year-olds again, wrote that inappropriate answer. So don't worry. But I can't see the names on the board while projecting the live mode to the class as a whole. So there's like 0 fear factor as far as a student is concerned for answering the question. And then I could play these. I'm not going to, but I could play those answers as well.
Rules, I count 'em. I got my rules, I count 'em. Long hair tied back against myself. I got my rules, I count 'em. Now go and tell them to get one. Don't you taste or sniff? You know you should be wafting if you're taking a whiff.
All right, and this is my other tip and trick for engagement, and that is that you can put a GIF into your Edpuzzle question. And I'll show you how I did this in just a minute. But what is this person doing correctly? I'm going to not say the answer because I'm terrible about explaining how I found this GIF and also saying the answer at the same time. So I'll give us a second to respond first. So are they mixing chemicals or are they wafting? So I also used an emoji in this question. So I have a Mac, so I can right click and then click on emojis and symbols, but you can actually insert an emoji if you have a PC as well by clicking on the window key and the period. So if you wanted to utilize emojis in your questions, you can do that still on a Windows device now too. I learned that a few months ago and I was like, if only they had had that when I was using a PC with my school district. All right, just another second. Give people a chance if they want to. Okay, so then I can do my show responses again, right? They are wafting. Okay, and then continue.
Don't mix it in.
So I'm going to exit this a little bit early, only because I want to be true to our time and we have 20 more minutes left. Okay, and then if you liked this, this video lesson, let me pull it for you really quick. So you can make a copy for your account. If you didn't know this and you're working with other teachers, like if you're working in a PLT environment or something, a really easy way for you to share your pre-created lessons is when I click on share preview, I can share a preview of the video with my colleagues. So you just copy that link right there. And if anybody else wants to utilize this video, there is the link right there, and you can see how I added in those individual things. So, all right, I'm going to make a copy of this really quick, only because I want to be able to edit it, and it's been assigned, so it's going to be a little wonky if I don't just duplicate it real quick. So to show you some of these features, first of all, I'm going to stay at edpuzzle.com to show you these features, but if you went to our bit.ly, which was in the bottom right screen, you will see how to find your video. I've got some of those updates there, but all of these editing slides have directions for what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm just going to do it on edpuzzle.com, but you can refer back to these slides if you are like, where did that girl go to do the note feature and add in a hyperlink? Or where did she go to add in an image? I've got these slides here of where you're going to want to click to do each of these things that I do to increase engagement with my Edpuzzles. Okay, so just letting you know, I'm not going to follow them as much in the interest of time, but you can go there. So once I'm in my editing screen, I'm just gonna, you can do the cut options, which will cut the length of your video, obviously. You've also got the questions here. VoiceOver only works for Edpuzzle hosted video. And then I've got my options here for my questions. So in this case, I just pulled 4 different images that were mentioned in the video. And then I put them into my question link. So I'll just make a new question. And then let's say, what is not typically served at Thanksgiving? Okay, so then here I would put in my answer choices. I can find a GIF or excuse me, an image. So let's say turkey Thanksgiving. Okay, and obviously you would want to use, you know, like a free clip art, something like that, anything that you might have. You can do the image search. You can use the URL. Well, that's probably not going to work because that's the whole website, but you can easily use the URL. I always have a few images downloaded on my computer, so I'm just going to pull some random images from my computer rather than take time to figure that out. But here you go, like there's an Edpuzzle icon there. Okay. Okay. And then here, once again, I can click on my image, upload an image from my computer. There's a logo there. Okay, so lots of ways that I can add those in. You can also pull the hyperlink if that's easier for you. And then once I'm done, you do have to have one correct answer choice. So you click on the green check there, and then I click save. And there's my question with my 2 images for my students to choose from when they answer the question. And I know that question did not relate to the images at all, so I do apologize for that. But hopefully you can see beyond that for how you could use it in your room. So think even further, right? Like you can make this more complex. Obviously, it doesn't just have to be identifying the difference between 2 images. It could be something like what is the main idea? This is the main idea of one of these political cartoons, and you could have 2 different political cartoons there. That's where my history brain goes, right? So you can do something like that really easily by putting multiple images in here. So I did the same thing with my GIF.
My love.
I did multiple choice question and I made it as part of the question. And for that, I used Giphy.com, which if you're not familiar with it, is amazing. All right, I just put it in the chat really quick while I went to it. So all I did was I clicked on share. So I found the GIF I wanted, copy GIF link. You guys, I literally searched for that wafting question. I thought, I wonder if there's a GIF of wafting. And there was. Options, actually. I mean, that's not really wafting. I think she's blowing smoke away from her face during Great British Bake Off, but still, there was the wafting gift right there. Really easy to click on it, click on share, and then copy my GIF link. Now, all I have to do is go back to my Edpuzzles. So I did which, or what is this person doing correctly? And hopefully, you know, I just thought this. I thought they were doing it correctly, but maybe they weren't. And I hope I didn't offend anybody that teaches science by saying they were. And then I just paste my URL here. There's my GIF right there, ready to go. And then I would type in my answer choices. So in this case, I had wafting and then mixing chemicals. So super easy. And then one of my favorite things to do as students answer questions, kind of as like a little fun golden nugget in there for them if they answer it right, or even if they answer it wrong, to maybe motivate them to do a little bit better, is to use this little feedback option here. And you can actually do a GIF for your feedback. Like I like to look up if they answer it right. And then I can just copy that link again. And right here, use a URL, paste, okay. Oh, that URL is not supported, but still. I can just paste it right there, right? And then I can have a GIF as my feedback, or just something like, you know, they're wafting, maybe review lab etiquette section on smell or something. I don't know what part of your like lab prep you would have that in, because I did not teach science myself. But I could go on and give them that immediate feedback. So when they answer it wrong, I've got my feedback right there so I can see what it was. It's gonna tell them they're wafting, please review lab etiquette on smell. So I can really quickly provide them that correction to the misconception. But as far as increasing engagement, I've got that really quick little engagement of having the moving picture right there. You could pick a theme, right? And pick GIFs of that theme that match the lesson that day or something. Lots of ways that you can use that. Like I have a PD where I used Schitt's Creek GIFs through the whole PD. So even if you're like responsible for making a PD for teachers, you could use Edpuzzle as your base and use some popular, like use Friends GIFs throughout the PD, right? I mean, even high schoolers now are starting to like rewatch Friends. So you could use Friends GIFs throughout it. So lots of ways that you can increase that engagement really quickly by using those text editing features and those video editing features. So then I've also got one thing that I showed you was the short. So for that, you're going to select open-ended question. And here you've got this toggle to allow audio responses. So this is where students would click on the microphone. Ooh, the office gifts would be fun. I love that. You can click allow audio responses, and then that will allow them to record their response. So what I always do just as a best practice is type in my question. And then if I want to make sure that they're recording their audio, I always love to do an emoji because pictures just automatically engage me more. So I assume that it's the same for other people. And I would say, make sure you click on the microphone to record your answer. Oops. So hard to type in front of other people. So make sure you click on the microphone to record your answer. I've got my toggle turned on, but remember, we want to type this if we want them to record, because they're going to have the option to type as well. And so now right there, I've got my question. Make sure you click on the microphone and I'll know that students need to record using their audio response. Now, you've noticed here in the bottom right corner that you've got a multiple choice, an open-ended, and a note again. Now, this is so you can do what I call stacking. So another one of my like best practices, especially if we're talking about maybe increasing students' stamina to prepare them for an end of grade test of some sort. Okay, because you know, they're gonna have to like read the passage, toggle back and forth between the questions and the passage, right? Like, but it's basically like you're getting a text, and what is video if not visual text? So you're getting a text, right? Or an input, and then having to answer questions. So what you can actually do is stack multiple questions in one place. So what I did at the end of this video is I put 2 multiple choice questions right next to each other. So to do that, all that you have to do is add another note or question here. So if you wanted to like really kind of prep them and get their stamina up, you could have them watch the entire video and put all the questions at the end, just like you would with like the old traditional worksheet model, right? Or you could have just a few questions at the end where they would answer those stacked together, if you will. So for that, all you do is once you put in your question, you've got this option in the bottom right corner to add another note or question, and that will literally add it in exactly the same spot. Now, since I've mentioned stacking questions, when you are finding Edpuzzle videos that already exist, so I used to love using John Green crash course videos in world history. So if I'm using that video, chances are somebody has already made an Edpuzzle on it. So the beauty of Edpuzzle is you can make a copy of one that somebody's already made. If you ever run into a teardrop with a white circle in it, so each of these teardrops is a video event. So it is either a multiple choice, an open-ended question, or a note. Okay. If it has a white circle in it, that means that somebody has put two in one place. The reason that I mention that is sometimes I'll get confused. I'm like, wait, I didn't realize there were two questions there. So if you see the teardrop with the white circle, that just means that there's two things for them to do, two video events in that same spot. So at 2 minutes, there are two multiple choice questions. So I'm just telling you that as best practice so that when you find videos that you like, if you see that teardrop with the white circle, you just want to go to that place and make sure that you've previewed both of those video events. Okay, because they're at the same spot in the video. All right, so we looked at how to upload our images into our questions. We looked at the GIF in the question to increase engagement. I even mentioned your emoji keyboard option. We looked at the feedback and how you could use that to increase engagement. And then we've got our awesome new audio response option there, and even stacking our questions at the end. So don't forget, as we get closer to our time, we have about 7 minutes left together. I've got slides for all of these things. So like a reminder for how you can add links to your note feature, a reminder for adding the images, the open-ended question, multiple choice question, adding images. Note as well here, when you add an image, you can also add text. I didn't really highlight that when I did it together, but if I wanted to like have a picture of an apple and the word apple, you can add them both in the same box. Okay, so you can kind of reinforce things that way too. You could add multiple external links to engage your students. So I kind of highlighted the hyperlink feature a little bit more in my app smashing session, but you could hyperlink a Google drawing or a graphic organizer for your students to complete after they watch the Edpuzzle. You could also do your emoji, which is what I featured. You've got your, there's an example of the images and the words together for the answer choices. And then the open-ended question, you could help them understand that open-ended question, provide them an image to troubleshoot, provide them a political cartoon to explain, however you want to use that to your advantage to get them engaged. And then we talked about the immediate feedback. Another cool way that you could use this immediate feedback, you could even have them link to an external source to review the question that they got wrong. So you could be like, this is covered in this Google slide presentation that we had 3 days ago. So you could link them back to those Google slides to cover what they got wrong right away. And then we looked at the student audio response. I even showed you how to utilize that. Just remember that it's under open-ended question. So you would select from the questions tab, open-ended question, and then you can toggle on to allow the audio response. All right, so I would love if you would share with us in the chat what you could create and how you could use your lesson. I know we didn't have much build time, but I'm glad, and hopefully you are too, that you participated in the live mode so that you could see it from a student perspective and see how I utilize some of those features to increase engagement within my Edpuzzle video lesson. And share with us, if you are totally new to Edpuzzle, keep in mind we have lots of resources to help you build your first Edpuzzle. I didn't really go into that during the session, but I did kind of show you at least where the questions tab was and how you can create some of those video events in your Edpuzzle video lesson. So I want to show you really quick before I let Brittany share the attendance sheet, which I'm sure is the topic of the hour, is where you go to get your credit. As far as assigning through Canvas, I have these slides here that show you how to assign your video lesson through Canvas. So these GIFs are here on the slides for you to utilize later. So you're going to use the assignment tool, right? So like I ran my Canvas course through modules. I don't know how your school prefers that you do it or how you guys do it in general. We kind of just had our teachers run it through modules so that the kids knew where to go for every course. Some people run it through assignments. But you're going to create an assignment, scroll down to submission type, select external tool, and then you click find and you click Edpuzzle. And then you select the Edpuzzle that you want to assign, and then click select again to continue with creating the assignment. So you'll see the Edpuzzle hyperlink pop up there after you've completed these steps. And that's actually the right thing. right? It's not going to put like a square of the Edpuzzle, but it will show up as the Edpuzzle within the Canvas window when your students go in to complete the assignment. So it might not look like it's right, but it is. And there's a GIF here for you to utilize as you create that assignment on your own. We also have an entire level 1 getting started with Canvas Edpuzzle course for certification that you can complete. And Christina, I believe, shared her email, but she is going to be one of the people that you can go to as well if you're having any issues with linking your Canvas with Edpuzzle. And also our support at edpuzzle.com email address is very helpful too. I think we even have YouTubes on getting started linking Edpuzzle and Canvas. If you want to pause as you go, you can utilize those YouTube videos too. And then as far as the data goes, you've got these beautiful red, yellow, and green data features where you can really quickly see who understands, who watched the whole video. You can even see down to how many times the student watched sections of the video. I could literally spend all day talking about data, which I don't have, but maybe next year, if we're invited back in this, this conference, we can do a session focused on those data features and how you can read those as well. Now, all of this data, as you can see from my GIF here, pulls up within that Canvas window. So the only thing that you're going to need to use edpuzzle.com standalone website for is building your actual Edpuzzle video lessons. But as far as assigning and looking at the data, you'll be able to do all of that through the Canvas window. And then student projects. So did you know now students can make their own Edpuzzle video lessons? I kind of talked about how to do that during my app smashing session, but this slide is here for you in case you're interested in that. They can upload their own video and they can also select a video from YouTube and embed their own questions too. So that's one of our new and awesome features within Edpuzzle. So to do that, you just click on the blue add content button and you click student project. Some ideas for that are on this slide here. Analyze a poem, demonstrate a math problem, record an experiment, and you can even prepare and present your own TED Talk, your students could. I've got a page of resources here for you, and it is 3 o'clock on the dot, my time. I know it's not 3 o'clock your time. I'm in North Carolina, sorry. And here's my email address. If you have any questions, please email me. There's our Edpuzzle support email. There's the bit.ly again, which I saw Christina shared. Thank you, Christina. And Brittany has a survey for you.
Yeah, those surveys have been sent already. Let me know if anyone's having trouble with that, but thank you.
Awesome. So, oh yes, and Christina shared our Edpuzzle YouTube channel. For beginner topics, we have lots of playlists, like there's a getting started playlist that'll really help if you're having an issue with that. And we do have support for Microsoft Teams. I see that in there. You can actually log in with Teams as of right now. So if you're using Microsoft Teams, you can click login with Teams in the same place that you would click login with Google. And there's help pages on Microsoft Teams as well.
Just for everyone's information about the conference in general, the next session is going to be the lunch, and it's a working lunch, so you can, it starts at 12:10, so about 10 minutes from now. And it's not going to be this link. You'll actually have to exit out of this one and then go to the Canvas page for that Zoom link. So if anyone has questions, please let me know. This is room 5 and it's session 3.
Thank you guys for being here. And I'm so glad that you put up with me and participated in my live mode. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to see it how the students see it too. Yes, and dedicated to spend a Saturday learning about tech tools to use in your classrooms. I'm very impressed by all of y'all. There's my North Carolina coming out, sorry. Thank you, Teresa. And have a happy holiday. Thanks. The holidays are very special now that we have a little one. It's so cute seeing everything through their eyes.
You said she was 18 months, Sarah?
Yes, I'll show you a picture. People are leaving. I don't feel as bad being like baby spam here, but here's her. Well, this is her and my husband, but we had our little holiday pictures, so that's her. Oh, I can't do it with my blur. Can you kind of see her? There she is.
Yeah, I can see it's adorable.
She
That's so
is
cute.
the happiest baby, which is very lucky.
I'm due in January, so
Congratulations.
thank you. First baby.
I was also expecting over the holidays, and it was the best because I just ate whatever I wanted. I still eat whatever I want, honestly, but especially when I was expecting.
I know I'm nervous. I'm like, okay, can't gain too much weight.
Nah, it'll come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Dad is
So-
very happy too. He had just gotten home from deployment, so he was especially happy to see her.
Mhm.
Where are you in North Carolina?
We are stationed at Fort Bragg, so we're in Pinehurst area, which is like 40 minutes from base. So it's an hour southeast of Raleigh, if you're familiar with North Carolina at all.
I lived in Goldsboro for 19 years.
Yep, that's another
Yep,
Marines.
Seymour Johnson.
Yeah, or Air Force Base. Yeah.
Yeah, the Air Force. Yep.
Yeah. But so we're
Yeah.
just happy to all be together. I'll take it any second that I can. So
Yeah. Well, have a happy holiday. Enjoy your baby.
y'all too. Thanks for joining me again. All right, well, I'll scoot out. You guys enjoy. Thank you for moderating, Brittany, and good luck with everything. And y'all have a good season.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Brittany. This is Christina. I'm going to log off too. You guys have a great rest of your conference, and hope to connect with you guys soon. Bye-bye.